So ground rents, what is a ground rent? And is this something I need to be afraid of? I've never heard of such a thing. A ground rent, very simply, is a 99-year lease. The lease automatically renews for additional 99-year terms into perpetuity. There are two ways to hold title here in Maryland. One way is to hold title in fee simple, which means that there is no ground rent, or you can have a leasehold interest or have a property subject to a ground rent. The amount of rent that you pay never changes. So ground rents typically are stated in annual amounts, so we'll refer to the annual ground rent. Now, who's responsible for what? The owner of the property, the owner of the building, is responsible for cutting the grass, paying the property taxes, doing everything to maintain the property. So it's as though you own the ground, you just pay this fee once a year, $120 a year to the ground rent investor, and you're good. If you're uncomfortable with the ground rent, or you're worried about it, or you just want to make it go away, you can make it go away. That's called a redemption. The way that you do this, in Maryland state law, it's mandated that if you offer to pay the owner, the investor, the redemption rate, they have to sell you the ground rent. They have to extinguish the ground rent. For most ground rents, it's 16.66 times the annual ground rent. So in our example, if we have a $120 annual ground rent, take 120 times 16.66, and the resulting figure is $2,000. So if you offer the investor $2,000 to buy out or redeem the ground rent, they must sell it to you, they must redeem the ground rent, and then the ground rent is extinguished forever. To know whether a property has a ground rent, if you're looking at a property that's listed for sale, it should say right on the listing form and on the listing card and the marketing information whether the property is in fee simple or whether it's subject to a ground rent. Also, if you look at the deed, the property says at the very top of it, it says this deed. A deed typically means a property is in fee simple. If it says this assignment, an assignment is an assignment of a leasehold interest in a property. A leasehold interest in the property means that there is in fact a ground rent on the property. And if you read further down in the deed, it will state in the deed under the property description whether the property being conveyed is in fee simple or whether it is subject to a ground rent. So I hope you've enjoyed this primer. If you have any further questions, please feel free to call me or email me. I'm happy to help out in any way I can. I'm a third-generation realtor here in Baltimore. My specialty is helping people buy, sell, and exchange apartment buildings, mixed-use, commercial investment real estate here in Baltimore.